I am Michael, the one who stands in the presence of the Most High, commander of the armies of heaven, sent not by chance, but by command. I speak to you now because this moment is not ordinary. It is precise, it is appointed, it is heavy with movement in the unseen, and if you feel a stirring in your spirit, it is because heaven is near you right now. Do not rush past this. Do not scroll away. Stay with me, because something has already begun, and what I am revealing will make sense only if you remain attentive until the end. I was dispatched because a line was crossed, not by the enemy, but by you. A decision was made, a step was taken, a surrender or an act of obedience occurred, perhaps quietly, perhaps in tears, perhaps when no one else was watching. Yet heaven saw it clearly. The courts of God went silent for a moment because what you did carried weight. It shifted alignment. It spoke louder than prayers spoken from habit. It declared trust where fear once lived. That is why I am here. Understand this. God is not moved by noise but by truth, not by performance but by posture, and your posture changed. In that change, authority was released. I was sent to announce, to guard, and to prepare the way for what is now unfolding. This is not imagination. This is not coincidence. This is not emotional comfort. This is response. You may not fully understand what you just did. You may think it was small. You may even doubt that it mattered. But I tell you with certainty, your move echoed. It was registered. It was weighed. And it was honored. That is why there is urgency in my voice. That is why I am speaking directly to you and not to the crowd. Heaven does not interrupt lightly. There is resistance you did not see that has already been addressed. There are accusations that were silenced before they could be spoken. There are delays that have lost their legal standing. Do not assume nothing is happening because you cannot yet see it. Much of the most powerful work happens in silence first. This is one of those moments. Stay alert. Stay open. Stay here. I must tell you this now. What is coming will require your attention, your steadiness, and your agreement. Distraction is the enemy's last tool when authority has already shifted. That is why I urge you, do not disengage. Do not minimize this. Do not let doubt speak louder than what your spirit recognizes. You are closer than you think. You have entered a narrow window of divine timing. These windows do not remain open indefinitely, but when entered, they accelerate everything connected to them. What once felt stuck will begin to move. What once resisted will begin to yield. What once felt impossible will begin to rearrange itself. But you must stay aware. You must stay receptive. You must stay until the end. As I speak, protection is being reinforced around your mind and your discernment. Confusion is not permitted here. Fear is not authorized here. This is a moment of clarity, even if emotions are still catching up. Let your spirit lead. Let faith speak before evidence appears. I will say this plainly, something big is coming, not later. Not someday, soon, very soon, and you will recognize it not by chaos but by precision, by right timing, by doors opening in ways that could not have been forced. When it begins, remember this moment. Remember that you were warned, prepared, and called to stay attentive. Do not leave yet. What I will reveal next will explain why this miracle was released now and not before. Stay with me until the end. And as an act of agreement, let your faith be seen, like this message, and type in the comments, I receive what heaven has released. This is not for attention, it is alignment. Stay watching. Stay ready. You do not want to miss what happens next. I saw the moment you made the move. Not as humans see, measuring size or visibility, but as heaven measures, by obedience, by courage, by trust when trust was costly. You may have thought it was simply a decision, a prayer whispered under your breath, a refusal to quit, a choice to forgive, to let go, to say yes when every part of you was tired of saying yes. But in the realm where I stand, it was not small. It was precise. It was deliberate. It was powerful. You must understand this clearly. Heaven responds not to what looks impressive, but to what is true. And what you did was true. It came from the deepest place in you, a place the enemy has tried repeatedly to fracture. When you moved from that place, it disrupted patterns that had been cycling for far too long. It broke agreement with fear. It cancelled consent you didn't even know you had been giving to delay, to limitation, to waiting without expectation. That is why the reaction was immediate. I watched as the record was marked. I watched as what you did was weighed, not against others, not against perfection, but against what you had already endured. And when it was weighed, it was found full. You acted despite weariness. You chose faith without guarantees. You aligned yourself when retreat would have been easier. This is why I say to you, do not underestimate what you have just done. Heaven did not. There are moves that trigger encouragement, and there are moves that trigger action. Yours triggered action. It gave legal permission for intervention. It opened a path that had been blocked not because God was unwilling, but because timing and authority had to meet. That meeting just happened. This is why you may feel a strange mix of peace and intensity right now. Peace, because alignment has been restored. Intensity, because momentum has been released. Listen carefully. The enemy has relied on one thing with you, delay disguised as normalcy, making you think that because things have taken time, they will always take time. But the move you just made broke that assumption. It signaled readiness. It declared maturity. It told heaven that you could carry what you are about to receive without being destroyed by it or distracted from it. That is not small. That is rare. I tell you this not to inflate you, but to steady you. Because when things begin to move quickly, the mind looks for reasons to doubt. It will try to explain away what God is doing. It will ask, why now? It will say, this is too good to be true. You must remember this moment. You must remember that there was a cause. Your obedience was the cause. Your faith was the cause. Your decision was the cause. What you did also sent a signal into the unseen. You are no longer negotiating with what tried to hold you. That signal carries authority. Authority attracts response. That response is already forming into something tangible. But do not rush it with impatience and do not poison it with fear. Stay centered. Stay grateful. Stay expectant. I need you to hear this. You did not make this move alone. Grace strengthened you. Wisdom guided you. Protection surrounded you. Even when you thought you were barely holding on, heaven was holding you steady. That is why your move was accepted. That is why it mattered. That is why God responded. And now, because you moved, you must remain positioned. Do not revert to old thinking. Do not speak against what has been set in motion. Words matter greatly in this window. Speak life. Speak trust. Speak anticipation. Something big is approaching, and it requires your agreement, not your anxiety. Stay with me. Do not leave yet. What comes next will reveal how this move connected directly to the miracle now being prepared. Like this message as a sign that you are still attentive and type in the comments, "My obedience opened the door." This is not ritual, it is reinforcement. Keep watching, stay until the end. What is coming is closer than you realize. When your move reached heaven, there was no confusion about it. There was no debate. God noticed it immediately. Not because he was waiting to be convinced, but because the moment your will aligned with his, a threshold was crossed. Heaven responds instantly to alignment. What feels slow on earth is often preparation, but what happens once alignment is achieved happens with speed and precision. This is what you must understand now. The atmosphere shifted. What had been pending was brought forward. What had been marked, wait, was reviewed again, not as a delay but as a readiness check. And you passed. God did not hesitate. He does not delay out of reluctance, only out of wisdom. And when wisdom determined that you were ready, the decision was made. I was sent as confirmation, as reinforcement, and as warning to anything that would attempt to interfere. You see, there are moments when prayer rises, and there are moments when response descends. This is a descent moment. What you did signaled trust without conditions. It was not bargaining faith. It was surrendered faith. That is why God responded the way he did. He does not ignore surrender. He honors it with action. I witnessed the moment opposition lost its footing, not because it suddenly became weak, but because it lost its legal ground. It had relied on your hesitation, your self-doubt, your fear of disappointment. When you moved, those claims expired. Accusations cannot stand where authority has been restored. That is why resistance began to quiet, even if you did not feel it immediately. You may wonder why nothing dramatic happened outwardly at first. This is because God works from the root outward. He secures the foundation before revealing the structure. What is being prepared for you is not fragile. It is not temporary. It is not meant to collapse under pressure. That is why heaven moved carefully, then decisively. I must tell you this clearly. The response was not symbolic. It was not emotional. It was intentional. God does not send miracles casually. When he decides to intervene, it is because something is required now. Something that will affect not only you, but others connected to you. Your breakthrough carries reach. That is why timing mattered. That is why preparation mattered. That is why your move mattered. There was a moment when silence fell, not absence, but attention. Heaven focused. And in that focus, instruction was released, provision was assigned, protection was increased. What is coming is not random. It is directed. It is measured. It is targeted precisely where you have needed it most, even in ways you have not spoken aloud. Do not assume that because God noticed your move, he expects perfection from you now. He expects trust, consistency, willingness. He knows your humanity. He accounted for your weakness before he responded. That is why fear has no authority here. That is why shame has no voice here. This response was made with full knowledge of who you are and where you are. I also need you to be aware. When God responds, the enemy watches for reaction. He looks for panic, impatience, or self-sabotage. Do not give him that satisfaction. Remain steady. Remain grounded. Let peace become your confirmation. Let patience become your strength. What has been released cannot be cancelled, but it can be resisted if you turn against it with your own words or doubt. This is why I speak with urgency now. Not urgency born of fear, but of opportunity. This is a narrow window where alignment must be maintained. You are not striving anymore, you are receiving. There is a difference. Do not fall back into striving. Do not chase what is already moving toward you. Something big is coming, and it is closer than your mind can calculate. Stay alert. Stay humble. Stay expectant. Do not disengage now. What I will reveal next will explain the nature of the miracle itself and why it will arrive in a way you did not expect. Stay with me until the end. Like this message to remain aligned and type in the comments, Heaven has responded. This is your agreement. Keep watching. Do not look away now. What is unfolding has already been decided. I must speak carefully now, not because what is coming is uncertain, but because it is sacred. The miracle being prepared is not something to be handled casually or spoken of lightly. It is forming even as I speak, shaped by intention, guided by wisdom, and timed with precision. You may be tempted to demand details, to want full clarity now, but I tell you, revelation comes in layers, and this layer is meant to awaken expectation, not satisfy curiosity. Stay with me. Do not disengage. You will understand why soon. This miracle is not merely a correction of circumstances. It is a recalibration. God is not just fixing what went wrong. He is realigning what was off course. That is why it may arrive in a way you did not anticipate. It may not follow the path you imagined, but it will land exactly where it is needed. When it comes, you will recognize it not only by relief, but by rightness. Something in you will say, this fits. This belongs here. I tell you this because many miss their miracle by expecting it to look like the past. God does not recycle solutions when he is ushering you into a new season. What is coming carries freshness. It carries movement. It carries a sense of forward momentum that you have not felt in a long time. This is not restoration to what was. It is advancement into what is next. There is also this truth you must hold. The miracle is connected to your obedience, not just your desire. That is why it is being shaped to support who you are becoming, not who you used to be. If it arrived earlier, it would have overwhelmed you. If it arrived later, it would have felt delayed. This timing is intentional. This moment is chosen. You may notice small shifts before the larger manifestation. Conversations changing tone. Opportunities presenting themselves unexpectedly. A sudden clarity where confusion once lingered. Do not dismiss these as coincidence. They are indicators. They are confirmations that the process has begun. Pay attention. Honor the small movements, for they are the foundation of the greater one. I must also prepare you emotionally. Miracles often arrive quietly before they arrive loudly. There may be a moment where you question whether anything is happening at all. That moment is not absence, it is transition. Hold your peace there. Do not speak against what you cannot yet see. Silence, when paired with trust, becomes a shield. What is being prepared will not require you to beg, manipulate, or strive. It will come because it has been authorized. It will unfold because the conditions have been met. Your role now is not to force it, but to stay aligned with it. Gratitude will keep you aligned. Expectation will keep you alert. Humility will keep you ready. I also need you to understand this. This miracle is not only for you, it will touch others through you. It will shift how you speak, how you decide, how you show up. That is why God guarded its timing so carefully. Influence requires preparation. Impact requires maturity. You are stepping into both. Something big is coming, and it will feel both surprising and familiar, surprising in form, familiar in purpose. You will see God's signature on it. You will know this was not manufactured by effort alone. When it arrives, remember this moment. Remember that it was foretold, prepared, and protected. Do not leave now. What comes next will explain why opposition intensified before this release and why that pressure was proof, not punishment. Stay with me until the end. Like this message to remain in agreement and type in the comments, I trust God's timing. Keep watching. Stay ready. What is approaching is already closer than you think. Before this release, there was resistance. Not because you were wrong, but because you were nearing breakthrough. This is a law in the unseen that many do not understand. Pressure increases not when you are failing, but when you are advancing. What you experienced was not punishment. It was friction caused by movement. The closer you came to alignment, the louder the resistance attempted to become. That noise was never proof of defeat. It was evidence of threat to the plans that relied on keeping you stagnant. I stood watch as strategies were formed against your peace. Doubt was sent not to destroy you, but to slow you. Fatigue was amplified to make you question your capacity. Old memories resurfaced to pull you backward into identities you have already outgrown. None of this was accidental, and none of it succeeded. You are still here, still listening, still standing. That alone tells you more than you realize. Opposition does not waste effort on what is not moving. It does not intensify around what is insignificant. It responds to momentum, and your momentum became undeniable. That is why the pressure felt personal. That is why it felt targeted. It was. But not for the reason you feared. It was targeted because what you carry, and what is now being released into your life, carries consequence. I want you to hear this clearly. Every attempt to discourage you before this moment has already failed. You outlasted it. You did not quit. Even when you doubted yourself, you did not abandon God. Even when you were confused, you did not turn bitter. That endurance mattered. It became evidence in the unseen. It stripped the opposition of its argument. There was nothing left to justify delay. This is why the pressure suddenly began to ease, or why it is easing now. When authority shifts, resistance loses volume. You may still feel echoes, but echoes are not commands. They are remnants of a battle that has already turned. Do not respond to them as if they still have power. Do not negotiate with thoughts that belong to a season that is ending. You were never meant to be crushed by what came against you. You were meant to be clarified by it, strengthened by it, focused by it. And that is exactly what happened. The fire did not consume you. It refined you. It removed dependencies that would have weakened you in the next season. That is why God allowed the pressure to rise, but never beyond what you could carry. I also need you to understand this. The opposition did not know the full plan. It only sensed movement. It reacted blindly. Heaven, however, responded with precision. What God has released now is not reactive. It is intentional. It is measured. It is protected. And it is already beyond the reach of what tried to stop you. Do not replay the hardest moments in your mind as if they were signs you were doing something wrong. Reframe them. They were confirmation that you were getting close. They were the final resistance before release. Many turn back at that point. You did not. That is why this moment belongs to you. Now hear this warning and this comfort together. Do not re-enter battles that have already been settled. Do not reopen doors God has closed. Do not revisit fears that have lost their authority. You are not in survival mode anymore. You are in transition. Act like it. Speak like it. Think like it. Something big is coming, and it is coming into a space that has been cleared, not cluttered. That clearing was intentional. That discomfort was purposeful. That season is ending. Stay with me. What I will reveal next will explain why timing has suddenly accelerated and why what once took years will now take moments. Do not stop now. Like this message to stay aligned and type in the comments, "The battle is over. Keep watching. Stay until the end. What is unfolding has already crossed the point of no return." There are moments in the divine order when time itself shifts. This is one of those moments. What once moved slowly was not delayed by lack of power, but by preparation. Now preparation has met readiness, and readiness has met alignment. This is why you may feel as though things are suddenly accelerating around you, even if outward circumstances have not fully caught up yet. Acceleration always begins in the unseen. You must understand this clearly. God has activated a now moment. Not a vague future, not a distant promise, but a present window where movement is permitted to happen quickly. What required endurance before will now require discernment. What once demanded patience will now demand steadiness. This is a different kind of faith. Faith that does not wait endlessly, but faith that stays anchored while things move fast. This acceleration is not chaotic. It is ordered. It is purposeful. It is precise. But to the unprepared mind, it can feel overwhelming. That is why I speak now, to steady you before the shift becomes visible. Sudden movement can tempt you to rush ahead or lag behind. You must do neither. Stay centered. Stay attentive. Let peace, not urgency, guide your steps. What God is doing now will feel like momentum returning to areas where nothing seemed to work before. Doors that resisted will begin to open with little effort. Conversations will align. Resources will surface. Answers will arrive without being chased. Do not be suspicious of ease. Ease does not mean you missed a lesson. It means the lesson has been learned. I need to warn you gently. When acceleration begins, distraction often follows. The enemy no longer tries to stop you. He tries to scatter you. Too many options. Too many voices. Too many urgencies competing for your attention. Do not confuse movement with direction. Not every open door is yours. Discernment matters more now than striving ever did. This is why silence will be powerful for you in this season. Not isolation, but intentional quiet. You do not need to explain everything that is happening to everyone. Some things are meant to unfold without commentary. Protection increases when revelation is guarded. Let results speak later. For now, let obedience guide you. You may notice your tolerance for certain environments, conversations, or behaviors decreasing. This is not arrogance. It is alignment. Acceleration requires lightness. Anything that weighs you down will feel heavier now. Pay attention to what drains you. Pay attention to what energizes you. These are signals guiding you forward. God is not asking you to do more. He is asking you to move with Him. There is a difference. Doing more leads to burnout. Moving with him leads to flow. Watch carefully where effort suddenly feels unnecessary. That is where grace is active. Follow that. I also need you to hear this. Do not be afraid of speed. You have been prepared for it. The stretching you endured was not wasted. It trained you to remain grounded while things change. That is why this acceleration will not break you. It will carry you. Something big is coming, and it will arrive faster than your previous experiences would suggest. Do not let old timelines define new movement. You are in a different season now. One where alignment produces results quickly. Stay with me. What comes next will show you how to recognize the signs that confirm this acceleration has begun and how to respond when you see them. Do not stop here. Like this message to stay attentive and type in the comments, "I am ready for God's timing." Keep watching. Stay until the end. What is unfolding is already in motion, and you are meant to witness it. I must now remind you of who you are, because what is coming will require that you see yourself correctly. Many lose what is released to them, not because God withdraws it, but because they misidentify themselves when it arrives. Identity determines capacity. And before this miracle manifests fully, heaven is re-establishing your understanding of your place in God's design. You are not forgotten. You are not an afterthought. You are not late. You are not behind. You are positioned. The waiting you endured was not evidence of neglect, but of investment. God does not entrust weighty things to unstable foundations. He fortifies before he fills. What you are stepping into now is connected to purpose, not just relief. That is why your identity matters so much in this moment. You have been shaped quietly, strengthened invisibly, refined in places no one applauded. While others saw stillness, heaven saw formation. While you questioned progress, God was deepening roots. This miracle is not a reward for endurance alone. It is an extension of calling. It will require discernment, humility, and responsibility. And you are ready, even if you do not yet feel confident. I tell you this because confidence will be tested. When the miracle begins to show itself, voices, internal and external, may question whether you deserve it, whether you can sustain it, whether it will last. Those voices do not come from truth. They come from outdated identity. You must not agree with them. Agreement is powerful. Choose carefully what you agree with in this season. You are not who you were when the struggle began. You have gained discernment. You have gained patience. You have gained authority through surrender. Do not downgrade yourself in the moment of upgrade. Stand in who God says you are, not who past pain tried to define you as. I also need you to understand this. The miracle will not remove your need for faith. It will elevate it. Faith will now be required to steward, not just to survive. To protect, not just to hope. This is a higher calling, and it is why heaven is reinforcing your identity now. You are being reminded because you will need to remember. There may be moments where you feel unqualified. That feeling is not a sign to retreat. It is a sign that you are stepping beyond self-reliance. God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And qualification happens through obedience, not perfection. You have already demonstrated obedience. That is why heaven is responding. Do not shrink when things expand. Do not apologize for growth. Do not hide what God is bringing forth in you. Walk with humility, yes, but also with confidence rooted in truth. You are allowed to receive what God has prepared without guilt. Something big is coming, and it is connected to who you are becoming, not just what you are receiving. This is a moment of alignment between identity and provision. Do not separate them. Embrace both. Stay with me. What comes next will reveal the signs you will begin to notice, clear confirmations that this miracle is unfolding and that you are walking in step with God's timing. Do not leave now. Like this message to stay in agreement and type in the comments, "I know who I am in God." Keep watching. Stay until the end. You are closer than you think, and what is coming will require your full awareness. You will begin to notice signs, not all at once, not always dramatic, but unmistakable if you are attentive. God does not leave his movements without witness. Confirmation is part of his order, not because he doubts, but because he strengthens your faith as you walk forward. These signs are not meant to impress you, they are meant to orient you. Pay attention now more than ever. The first sign will be clarity, not answers to every question, but a settling in your spirit. Decisions that once felt heavy will begin to feel lighter. Confusion will lose its grip. You may not know every step, but you will know the next one. That knowing is a sign. Do not ignore it. Clarity is often the first evidence that alignment has been restored. You will also notice repetition. Certain themes, words, ideas, or confirmations will appear more than once, from different sources, at different times, without orchestration. This is not coincidence. Heaven confirms itself through consistency. When something returns gently but persistently to your awareness, pause, listen. That repetition is guidance. Another sign will be release. What once triggered anxiety will suddenly feel distant. Old fears will lose emotional charge. Situations that once controlled your mood will no longer have the same power. This does not mean the issue has vanished. It means its authority over you has. That is a sign of healing already in progress. You may also notice resistance falling away in unexpected places. People becoming cooperative where they were once difficult. Circumstances loosening without force. Delays resolving quietly. These shifts may seem small, but they are indicators that the unseen groundwork is complete and visible movement has begun. Be attentive to timing. Opportunities will begin to arrive with a sense of rightness, not rushed, not forced. When something aligns without strain, that is confirmation. God's timing carries peace even when it stretches you. If something pressures you into fear, pause. Peace is your compass now. Dreams, impressions, or sudden insights may also increase. Not all will be prophetic, but many will carry instruction or reassurance. Do not dismiss them too quickly. Write them down. Reflect. Discernment grows when attention is given. I must caution you, signs are not meant to replace faith, but to support it. Do not chase them. Do not demand them. Simply remain observant. Obsession distorts perception, but attentiveness sharpens it. Stay grounded. You will know you are on the right path when gratitude rises naturally. Not forced optimism, but genuine thankfulness even before the full manifestation appears. Gratitude is both a response and a signal. It tells heaven that you recognize what is happening. Something big is coming, and these signs are not the miracle itself. They are the announcement that it is approaching. They are the footsteps before the arrival. Do not rush past them. Honor them. Let them strengthen your trust. Stay with me. What comes next will speak to the posture you must maintain so that nothing interferes with what is unfolding. This is important. Do not disengage now. Like this message to stay alert and type in the comments, I recognize God's signs. Keep watching. Stay until the end. You are walking closer to the moment than you realize. I speak to you now with clarity and command, because alignment in this hour is not optional, it is essential. I am Archangel Michael, and I stand beside you as instruction is released. What has been set in motion will respond to how you position your heart, your words, and your attention. This is not a season for striving or forcing. This is a season for precise alignment. Stay with me, do not drift. What I speak now safeguards what is arriving. First, I instruct you to release the need to explain yourself. Do not defend what God has already validated. Silence, when chosen in faith, is not weakness, it is authority. There are people who will never understand your obedience, your timing, or your faith, and they are not required to. When you speak too much, you scatter strength. When you remain centered, heaven speaks on your behalf. Guard your tongue. Let your words agree only with promise, not with fear, memory, or speculation. Second, do not try to manage the outcome. Control is a subtle echo of past disappointment, and it does not belong where trust has been invited. I see your temptation to rehearse possibilities, to predict who will help, how it must unfold, and when it must arrive. Release that. Miracles constrained by expectation arrive small. Miracles met with surrender arrive whole. Your role is not to choreograph. Your role is to stay open. Trust is alignment made visible. Third, I command you to guard your emotional gates. Do not revisit old conversations. Do not relive wounds that God already closed. Do not imagine endings based on past losses. That territory no longer belongs to you. Peace is not passivity. It is active spiritual warfare. When you choose calm, when you refuse to spiral, when you breathe and stay present, you are disarming resistance you cannot see. Choose peace on purpose, again and again. Fourth, remain obedient in small promptings. When you feel urged to rest, rest. When you feel urged to speak, speak. When you are prompted to forgive, forgive quickly. Do not wait for full understanding before moving. Heaven responds to agreement, not analysis. Obedience, even when quiet, accelerates what is waiting to manifest. You are not waiting on God. God is watching how you carry what has already been released. Hear me clearly now. Do not announce your next move too early. There is protection in privacy. What is forming around you needs time to settle before exposure. Careless words alert opposition, but intentional silence keeps the path clear. Let results speak. Let favor explain itself. This is not secrecy born of fear. This is wisdom born of timing. I know your heart is trembling as you receive this. That is not anxiety, it is recognition. Something in you knows this moment matters. Do not leave now. Stay with me. Stay present. Instruction is still flowing, and what follows will strengthen you for the final stretch. Type this affirmation in the comments with intention and faith. I choose alignment. I remain steady. I receive what God has released. These words are not symbolic, they are participatory. Agreement activates movement, like this message as an act of expectancy, and keep watching. What is coming next will explain why the pressure increased and why it is about to break. Something significant is very close now. Stay until the end. Do not miss what is unfolding. I speak to the places in you that no one ever saw bleed. I am Archangel Michael, and I tell you this with certainty. The miracle approaching you is not only external. God is healing what broke quietly inside you while you were still functioning, still showing up, still surviving. Stay with me. Do not turn away now. This is the part many miss, yet it is the part that makes the miracle sustainable. You have carried disappointment longer than you admit. You learned how to smile while grieving outcomes you never got to mourn. You told yourself to be strong when what you needed was permission to rest. Heaven saw every tear you swallowed, every night you questioned your worth, every moment you wondered if obedience was costing you too much. None of it was ignored. None of it was wasted. As this breakthrough draws near, God is touching the root, not just the surface. The weariness you feel is not because you are weak. It is because you have been strong for too long without relief. I am telling you now, the pressure in your chest, the sudden emotions, the resurfacing memories are not signs of regression. They are signs of release. What was buried for survival is being lifted for healing. You were wounded in places where you expected safety. Betrayal did not just hurt you, it reshaped how you guarded your heart. Loss did not just sadden you, it taught you to expect disappointment. But hear me, the season that trained you to brace for impact is ending. God is restoring your ability to receive without fear. This miracle cannot arrive fully if your heart is still armored against hope. I see God soothing the part of you that felt forgotten. I see him restoring trust where cynicism tried to settle. You are not being asked to relive pain, you are being released from its grip. Healing is happening quietly, gently, layer by layer, even as I speak. Do not resist it. Do not rush past it. Let yourself feel without judging yourself for it. There are emotions you thought you were over that are surfacing again. This is not failure. This is completion. Healing revisits the wound only to close it properly. What once defined you will no longer drain you. What once triggered you will no longer control you. God is teaching your nervous system that danger has passed and that it is safe to hope again. Stay very attentive now. Do not numb yourself. Do not distract yourself. Sit with God when emotions rise. Speak honestly with Him. Tears in this season are not weakness. They are evidence that restoration is happening at depth. The miracle coming toward you requires a healed heart to hold it without fear of loss. I urge you, do not scroll away. Stay. What you are feeling right now matters. Heaven is close in this moment. Type this in the comments with sincerity. I allow God to heal me completely. These words open space for grace to flow deeper, like this message as an act of trust, and keep watching. What comes next will explain the final pressure before release and why silence may briefly surround you. Something very significant is about to shift. Stay until the end. Do not miss what is coming. Listen carefully now, because this is where many misunderstand the moment. I am Archangel Michael, and I speak to you about the test that comes just before the gift. This is not punishment. This is confirmation. Stay with me. Do not disengage now, because recognizing this stage will keep you steady when emotions try to misinterpret what is happening. Just before a miracle fully manifests, there is often a narrowing, a silence, a pause, a sensation of pressure that feels like everything has gone quiet at once. You may notice fewer signs, fewer messages, fewer reassurances. Do not be alarmed. Heaven has not gone silent because God has stepped away. Heaven has gone quiet because the work is nearly complete. What is being finalized does not require noise. This test is subtle. It does not arrive as obvious opposition. It arrives as doubt disguised as logic. Thoughts like, nothing is changing, maybe I imagined it, or I should stop expecting so much. These thoughts are not truth. They are the last attempt to pull you out of expectancy. If you interpret this moment incorrectly, you may try to force movement or withdraw hope. I command you, do neither. You may feel an urge to check, to chase, to seek reassurance from people instead of God. Resist that urge. The test is not about endurance. It is about trust without proof. Faith at this level is quiet, steady, and grounded. This is where maturity is revealed. You are being asked to remain confident even when confirmation pauses. I tell you plainly, pressure increases when resistance loses leverage. What you feel now is not the strength of the obstacle, it is the weakness of it. The enemy is loud when he has access. He becomes subtle when access is closing. This moment of stillness is evidence that the door is almost shut. You may also experience emotional vulnerability here. Old fears may whisper, what if it doesn't happen? This is not because you are regressing. It is because the miracle is close enough to threaten what once defined your survival patterns. Fear surfaces when it realizes it is about to be evicted. Do not partner with it. Observe it, release it, and remain steady. Do not make sudden decisions in this window. Do not abandon what you have been faithful to. Do not rewrite the story prematurely. Hold your position. Stand where you are. Consistency now is power. The test is passed not by effort, but by stillness anchored in trust. Hear this clearly. Silence does not mean absence. Delay does not mean denial. Pressure does not mean defeat. This moment is proof that something irreversible is about to arrive. Heaven is watching how you interpret the quiet. Stay with me. Do not rush away now. What I am sharing is stabilizing you for what comes next. Type this in the comments with resolve. I will stand firm. I trust God even now. This declaration anchors you when emotions try to sway you. Like this message as a sign of agreement and keep watching. What follows will charge you with strength and courage, because the next phase requires steadiness, not retreat. Something is extremely close. Stay until the end. Do not miss what is about to break through. Now I charge you with firmness of spirit, because this is not the hour to waver. I am Archangel Michael, and I stand as a commander in moments exactly like this, when heaven has decided, when the release is near. And when the only thing that could disrupt the flow is retreat of the heart. Stay with me, do not turn away now. Strength is being activated in you as you listen. Stand firm, not in tension, not in striving, but in settled resolve. Courage now does not roar, it anchors. It holds position when feelings fluctuate. It refuses to rewrite the story based on temporary silence. You are not being asked to fight harder. You are being asked to remain steady. Stability in this moment is spiritual authority. I see the temptation to second-guess yourself. I see the urge to pull back, to lower expectations so disappointment cannot hurt you again. I command you, do not shrink. Shrinking is not humility, it is fear wearing familiar clothing. You did not come this far to retreat at the threshold. What God is releasing requires you to stay present, not protective. Expectancy is your posture now. Expectancy is not anxious waiting, it is confident readiness. It says, I am prepared for good to arrive. It keeps your heart open without demanding proof. This is the stance that aligns you with acceleration. When you remain expectant, you signal heaven that you are ready to receive without resistance. Do not let emotional waves determine your decisions. Feelings will rise and fall, but truth remains fixed. You are allowed to feel tired without surrendering ground. You are allowed to feel uncertain without abandoning faith. Stand firm means you do not move your foundation every time your emotions shift. Root yourself in what God has already spoken. I also instruct you to be courageous in hope. Hope after delay requires bravery. Hope after disappointment is not naive, it is powerful. You are not hoping blindly, you are hoping with history. God has carried you through too much to abandon you now. Let that remembrance strengthen your stance. Watch your reactions closely. This is not the time for impulsive words, emotional ultimatums, or dramatic conclusions. Remain measured. Remain grounded. Courage often looks like calm restraint. When you respond instead of react, you maintain authority over the moment. I speak this clearly. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not overlooked. You are exactly where alignment requires you to be. Standing firm now compresses time. What felt slow is about to move swiftly, and steadiness ensures you can receive it without fear. Do not scroll away. Stay with me. This charge is fortifying you for the final approach. Heaven is close, and your response matters. Type this affirmation in the comments with confidence. I stand firm. I do not retreat. I am ready. These words strengthen agreement between your spirit and what heaven has released. Like this message as an act of courage, and keep watching. What comes next declares protection over every area of your life as this miracle arrives. Something powerful is imminent. Stay until the end. Do not miss what is unfolding now. Stay with me now. Do not leave. This is not the moment to disengage, because what I speak now is not a suggestion. It is an urgent summons. I am Archangel Michael, and I tell you plainly, timing has compressed. Heaven has finished its work, and now response is required on your side. What is coming is close enough that hesitation could cause you to miss the fullness of it. Remain here. Stay until the very end. This message did not find you by accident. You did not arrive here randomly. There is a reason your attention has been held, a reason your heart has been stirred, a reason something in you feels alert right now. That awareness is not emotion, it is recognition. Your spirit knows that this moment matters. Do not scroll, do not delay, do not treat this lightly. I insist that you respond, because response is alignment made visible. Heaven releases, but agreement activates. What has been sealed is already moving toward you, yet how you receive it determines how fully it manifests. This is why I urge you so strongly to remain attentive. Distraction in this hour is costly. Focus is protection. You are standing at the edge of transition. One step forward places you into what you prayed for. One step back keeps you rehearsing what God already closed. I am telling you now, do not retreat into old habits of doubt, silence, or passive waiting. This is not the season for observation. It is the season for participation. I call you to respond with faith expressed outwardly. Speak agreement. Act expectant. Choose alignment consciously. Heaven is watching not to judge you, but to partner with you. Your response right now is being marked. Do not say, "I'll respond later." Later dulls urgency. Later weakens conviction. Later is where many miss their moment. Now is sacred. Now is alive. Now is when things shift. The window is open, but it will not remain open forever. I ask you, no, I charge you, to declare your agreement openly, not quietly, not internally only. Outward expression seals inward belief. Type this affirmation in the comments exactly and deliberately. I receive what heaven has released for me now. Do not change the words. Do not rush them. Let them be intentional. This is not for performance. It is for alignment. I also instruct you to like this message as a physical sign of expectancy. This is not about approval. It is about participation. It is a marker that says, I stayed, I listened, I responded. And hear this clearly. Keep watching. Do not stop now. Something is unfolding rapidly. Signs will begin appearing in ways you cannot ignore. Conversations will shift. Opportunities will surface. Peace will settle. What you have waited for will start moving toward visibility, and you must remain alert to receive it fully. Stay until the very end of this moment. Stay attentive in the days ahead. Something big is coming very soon. Do not miss it. Keep watching, keep expecting, keep responding.